Welcome students, I am Ms. Morris. I'm your teacher in Foundations of English 9. Okay, today is just a get to know you day and to get you signed up on ReadWorks and then talk a little bit about what class will look like. So some of you may be adding or dropping later, so this video will be available for you for the rest of the class if you need to go back and complete this. Now the reason I'm doing a video rather than doing just live instruction each day is that if I record the video ahead of time, it means we can watch it together, and then during our live time you can ask any questions you have without interrupting the flow of instruction. What that means is if you get interrupted by something, a pet, a sister, a phone call, you can hit pause on the video and then come back a minute later, hit play, and you won't have missed anything. It also means you can ask questions as you go. So if you have a question in the middle of something, instead of having to raise your hand and ask and stop everything, you can just ask in the chat. That will make class go really quickly. It means that you can also go back if things are confusing and you can rewatch segments, and the instruction will be available on Classroom and on Canvas for as long as the course is open. So if you have to miss class for some reason, the instruction will always be available to you. I will also always be available to you during the live times for our classes. I'll put the schedule on the screen now so that you can see it. I will be available during our live time every day in the morning to answer your questions and to go over the video together. Now, just a little practical setup tip. I would recommend that you get two windows open on your device. If you have two devices, you can always do it on one on each screen, but the best way if you're on a Chromebook or a school device or a laptop is to get two windows open and get them side by side. So I have it set up like this, where you have Google Classroom in one side and your Google Meet on the other. That way you can have the video in one screen and then you can have the Google Meet in the other to ask questions as we go. Now, it's important to set that up ahead of time so that when we start the video, you're not having to kind of go back and forth and try and switch things around. I also won't be playing the video over the live stream with audio. What I will be doing is I will be having the video available at the start of our class block after our warm-up, and then I'll tell you when to open it and I'll play the video on my screen on mute. That way you'll see roughly where we are, even if you get a little ahead or behind, no big deal, but you'll be able to see where we are but not have to hear the annoying audio, and because obviously Google Meet has a lot of great features, but audio sync sometimes is a little bit off, and I would hate if my internet drops out for you to lose the audio and not be able to recover it. So that's why I'm asking you to play the video in a separate tab, have it set up side by side with your Google Meet. That way, again, you can ask questions as we go, you can see other people's questions, and sometimes I'll be asking you questions as we go as well. So that's how to set it up. We will be using Google Classroom for some things. The reason we're using Google Classroom on top of Canvas this year is that Google Classroom has integration with lots of apps that we use. So we're going to be going through ReadWorks today, and that syncs directly with Google Classroom, which means it's one less login you have to remember, and it also will show me your assignment results immediately through Google Classroom. So Canvas will be sort of our LMS, our learning management system, where everything is organized, and Google Classroom will be where I push out documents and share videos, and things that are through Google Drive are just much easier through Google Classroom. So to keep it simple, everything will always be in Canvas, but if we're doing an assignment during this live instruction time, it will be posted in Google Classroom. And again, we'll go over that each time. I'll make sure that you know how to do it. If you have questions about it, please let me know. Really what I'm here to do is encourage you that this is different than what you're used to. I imagine most of you were in a traditional classroom last year, and so was I. Remote learning in the spring was very weird, and it was tough for a lot of you, I know. It was tough for me too, and this has all been a learning journey process together. So what I want to encourage you is, if you have a question, we're not in the classroom so that I can tell that you're sitting there confused. You have to ask. There is no other way for me to know that you're confused or that you don't understand what you're supposed to do or how to submit something. So we're going to be doing two things today, and one of them is specifically about asking questions when we're not in our live instruction time. When we're in our live instruction time, just pop your question in the chat, or if it's a time where the video is playing and no one else is talking and you just want to ask a question over audio, go for it. That's probably the two best ways to ask a question if it's during our live instruction time. And we'll talk about how to ask them outside of our live instruction time. So today, your individual assignment, meaning after this is over, after our live instruction period is over and you have your independent work blocks, this is the work you're going to be completing for my class. So the first thing you need to do is get into our Google Classroom, and then you're going to be signing into ReadWorks. Now, if you don't know what ReadWorks is, it is a platform that lets you read articles and answer questions and build your skills in expository reading. Expository is anything nonfiction. So generally it will be informational articles, sometimes persuasive articles, and we're going to start article a day, which is each day you'll log in and you'll choose one of the articles from the article sets, and then you will read it and complete a book of knowledge. Now we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow in our live instruction time, but today we're just going to get our account set up and then you're going to do the reading snapshot. So first thing, I'm going to show you what to do. Start by going to readworks.org and you should see this splash page. Now if you've never used ReadWorks before, you're going to use sign up. If you have in another class, you still have an account as long as it was through Gaston County. If you have used this outside of Gaston County, you're going to need to sign up for an account with your Gaston County email. So you're going to hit sign up, and then it says educator parent sign up, and you need to click I'm a student. And then it'll give you a choice to log in with Google or to enter a class code. So you're going to log in with Google because that'll sync immediately to Google Classroom. So once you log in, you should see assignments to do, and it should say reading mindset snapshot. Now this is just a short assignment telling me a little bit about your reading habits. So you're going to click start, and it says once you start you have to finish and submit. Are you ready? Yes. And then you're going to go through and answer each of the questions. It's an emoji guide. This is a platform that's used from kindergarten up to 12th grade, so sometimes they will use emojis. You're going to answer each of the questions, answer each of these. This will help me pick the best articles. So the interest inventory will give me a sense of what you like reading about or what you don't like reading about, so I can tailor each of the article sets that you have to the things that you like. Now you may not always get one you like, but I'm going to attempt to find things that work for the majority of the class. And then it'll give you some options for what you like here, and then some topics you're interested in. Once you've answered all the questions, you hit submit, and that assignment is complete. So that is your only assignment today in ReadWorks, is to complete this reading mindset snapshot. Once you complete it, it should show up in submitted assignments. So that is your first assignment today. Your second assignment is all about asking good questions. So what you're going to do is open up your school Gmail. If you don't remember how to get there, you can just go to gmail.com and put in your ID and password. Your email address is the same as last year, and your password, if it's been reset, please let me know. You can leave me a comment in the chat right now, or you can stay on at the end and I'll help you through that. So what I'd like you to do is click compose, and it should open up a new message. And then I would like you to type in my email address. It is CHERYL, Cheryl Morris, MORRIS, at gaston.k12.nc.us. In the subject line, I'd like you to put which period and which class you are in. So for example, if you're in first block, you'd say 1 SAT prep. And then you're going to write me an email. Now, when you write a teacher an email, this goes for all teachers, whether it's virtual or when we're back in school, you start off with a subject line in a capital letter. So hi or hello, and then a dash or a comma. It's up to you. And then I'd like you just to briefly introduce yourself. So my name is, and then I want you to put your name. Please make sure you use capital letters on your first and last name. You always capitalize things that are important. Your name is important. Now, if you go by something other than what is in PowerSchool, if you go by your middle name or a nickname, please give me that name, okay? So my name is, and I'm in, and I want you to tell me what grade you're in. And I would have attended, and then tell me what high school you would have attended this year. And then something you should know about me is, and then I'd like you to tell me something about you. It can be anything, any fact. So something you should know about me is that I have a 2-year-old, and you might hear her in the background sometimes, which is one of the reasons why I decided to record videos rather than try and do them live. I thought it would be easier too if you didn't have a 2-year-old screaming in the background over me instructing you. So something you should know about me is that I have a 2-year-old. Her name is Eliza. You will definitely see her at some point, and you will definitely hear her at some point. And then once you finish that sentence, and with thank you, and then your name. Okay, this is a basic email format where you have a greeting, you have capital letters at the beginning of sentences and periods at the end of every sentence, you have complete sentences, and then you have a salutation or an ending of some kind, like thank you or I appreciate your time, anything like that, and then your name at the end. Your subject line should always be what the email is about. In this case, your subject line is the name of your class. And I'm going to use this to create an email list too, so that if there's anything that ever needs to go out urgently, it can go out through email as well. So once you've done that and hit send, that is your full assignment for the day. So you should complete the reading mindset snapshot after you get signed into ReadWorks, and you should send me this email. Once you do that, you are complete for today, for day one, and tomorrow we'll dive into ReadWorks article of the day. So if you have questions, please ask them now in chat or ask them over the audio channels. If you have questions later today, you can always email me. You now have my email address programmed in. You can also leave questions on Classroom or on Canvas. And if you have questions about Canvas or Classroom or why you're in this class or your schedule, let me know and I will help you find the right person to ask. So thank you, and I will see you tomorrow for instruction.